An overwhelming majority of voters in the Central African Republic have approved the changes to the country's constitution in a recent referendum. They did so with an over 95% of the vote, according to provisional results released by the committee in charge of overseeing the referendum. Opposition parties and some civil society groups boycotted the vote, saying the amended law was designed to keep President Faustin Archange Touadera in power for life. They argue that the referendum lacked transparency and there was limited time given to debate its provisions. Nearly 2 million people registered to vote, and their turnout was estimated by those watching the poll as low. The proposed law abolishes the presidential two-term limit and extends the term in office from 5 to 7 years. It also bans politicians with dual citizenship from running for president. Well, Robert Nagila covered the referendum in the Central African Republic. He's joining me now to give us an update on what's happening in the CAR. Robert, an overwhelming majority of voters in the Central African Republic have approved the changes in the constitution. Over 95% of the vote. What does that mean for the country?
Well, Beatrice, what this means for the Central African Republic is a fundamental change in the way this country is governed and in its governing structures. Essentially, what we're going to see, and I suspect this is going to happen very, very fast once the final results are out, because as you correctly put it, these are just the provisional results. I suspect we're going to see the government move to institute the new changes, which include the removal of presidential term limits, the extension of a term limit from 5 to 7 years for the president. We're also going to see the establishment of a vice president's post, and they're going to do away with the Senate. But crucially, which has been a sticking point, those who hold dual citizenship, that is citizenship of the CAR in another country, will not be allowed to participate in presidential polls in the future. Now, of course, the opposition boycotted the poll. They say that they were not given, it was not inclusive. The lead up to this poll was not inclusive. They did not have enough time. So it remains to be seen how the road ahead is going to be. But clearly, there is a section of the population that is not happy with this particular poll. So
what was your experience covering the referendum? And more importantly, is this the outcome that the voters expected?
Well, as the Electoral Commission says, you've got 93% who took part in it. We're waiting for that final result, because then we will be able to tell just how many people actually took part in this vote. Because what we saw at the various polling stations we visited, turnout appears to have been very, very low. We still don't have an exact figure on that. But the president's allies and the president himself, President Faustin Archange Touadera, has been very clear that it is time for this country to move forward away from its past. Remember, they had a new constitution around 2015, and he believes that this new constitution will carry the country forward in terms of governing, in terms of development. And you have his supporters who we believe overwhelmingly in the capital came out to vote for him. However, the opposition was very clear. They called for that boycott. A lot of their supporters did not turn up for that. We spoke to one lady who said that she refused to give us her name. She said that she was fearful of what this new constitution meant for this country, because there was simply no time for any civic education for people to understand what was in it. But the president and his allies are very clear that this country needs to move on from its past, and they believe this is the path to a new CAR.
All right, Robert Nagila, thank you very much for that insight.